So anybody that believes that these boys need legal fees taken care of or whatever else they need, go ahead and support. Go ahead and support. And let me tell you, in my heart of hearts, after reviewing all this stuff and listening to everything, I want to support them. I'm trying to be fair, and I can give them a popularity. I can push it out there and let y'all make an opportunity at it. I'm gonna try to be fair until the conclusion of the case that I'm not gonna give to either GoFundMe or Gifts and Goes. But I'm gonna tell you what, I'll put it out there if y'all want to support. I'm not gonna do that. We reviewed this thing and it's a nothing burger. I don't even know why the Cajun Navy put this out. There's nothing there. Maybe it gives people fodder. They can create a lie because they know you're not gonna read 26 pages. But I'm gonna have Grant read the synopsis because we went through.
It is over. They are on Officer Tatum's ass, bro. They are on Officer Tatum's ass, bro. I don't even want to know why I call him officer. He is not no officer no more. Before we get into these videos, bruh, oh my gosh. We got a psychotherapist that's breaking down the psychological effects that Brandon Tatum must have went through to be the way he is. Because he just go against his people, so people think like maybe it's just the money. Why do he still call himself officer when he's not a police officer no more? What was it like and how was he treated when he was younger? These are all the things that's going to be getting answered when the psychotherapist Elliot Conning break it down, because he was just on the Willie D Live show. And what his thoughts are on Brandon Tatum, bruh, I feel sorry for this dude now, bro. Because it's to the point where as though you're not just doing it to piss everybody off. You got so ingrained in you the hate, and you built up this character that you really can't depart from. And now it's to the point he's being used by the other side and there's no turning back. He's stuck. It's up and it's stuck. No, he's stuck. Before we get into it, I'm gonna need y'all to hype this video. Y'all ain't gonna wanna miss this one right here. And please subscribe. Let's get this out there in the algorithm because people need to see what it is like to be like a Brandon Tatum and what happens to people like you when you do stuff like this, when you go against your people, when you go against the grain. But without further ado, let's get into it, y'all.
I'm trying to figure out, how does a person throw a community that they're from under the bus consistently while praising another community consistently, specifically a community that has shown the propensity to subjugate, undermine, discriminate, and hate the community which you're from?
Oh, that's easy. No, I don't have that in me, but I am a well-read, well-researched person who can describe psychological phenomena pretty concisely.
Help me with this, bro. I need the information on this one.
Well, the answer to that question is resentment. If I am from the Black community and I have never felt accepted within that community.
Boom.
I never felt like in the in crowd, Black girls I wanted to date, or Black guys, doesn't matter, but Black people I wanted to date always rejected me. And then you go off into another world. In this case, he went from Fort Worth, Texas, and a very Black area of Fort Worth, Texas, an area of Fort Worth, Texas known as Stop 6. He went to Dunbar High School, which is an incredibly African-American African-American school, predominantly African-American school. And he leaves that school, and then he goes to a school in Arizona to play football. So imagine if you have not experienced acceptance at Dunbar High School, and you were a standout athlete and all these things, and then you go to University of Arizona, which is no longer predominantly predominantly black, and let's say the white community, like they want you in their fraternities, and the white girls want you to date, and they're saying positive things about you, you begin to build resentment towards your own people and start to seek acceptance from another group, which I believe is exactly what happened with Brandon Tatum.
Wow. So hold on, let me get this right. You started off around a bunch of black people. You played football. You was from a predominantly black area in Texas called Stop 6, but you wasn't getting congratulated like that because, you know, look, our people, we good in sports. You're not just gonna be good in the sport and then you shine amongst everybody. Nah, you just gonna blend in right with everybody else. So when he went to the white people, around the white people, you know he gonna shine because he black. You know what I'm saying? So he probably got high praises around those white people. But he started to switch in his mind somewhere like, yo, these people are better because they clap for me. But he got stuck in that mindset. Let's continue.
How do you know when someone truly believes that what they're saying is independent versus trying to protect an identity that they've built?
It would move. Like if I genuinely believed, like I'll continue to use like a silly example, but if I genuinely believe the earth is flat, I'm not being paid for that belief. I have no brand deals for that belief. I just believe the earth is flat. Mm-hmm. And then I meet Neil deGrasse Tyson, who proves to me that the earth is in fact a globe. Then you would see me go, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I really appreciate that. But if I truly believe the earth is flat, and I've got 2 million subscribers on Instagram because I keep posting flat earth content, and I have brand deals and I get access to very powerful people. I mean, Brandon Tatum has been photographed at the White House with some of the most prominent people in the Trump administration, including Donald Trump. So I get access, I get money. So now when Neil deGrasse Tyson tries to prove to me the earth is flat, my brain starts processing like, wait, whoa, I can't accept this, because if I do accept this, I lose access and I lose money. So that you can tell when someone has an independent thought because they're perfectly comfortable moving that independent thought. The moment someone refuses to move their position in the face of concrete data, you know there's an external thing that is holding them in the position that they are in.
Wow, that is a great analogy. So he's saying if he was to ever come out and start speaking for his people, all his money is going to disappear because he's at a point now, he's doing it. He know he's being used and it's helping him pay bills. And he said, look, he's been taking photos at the White House. Here's one of the people that they use to try to shut the black people up. But we not listening to no damn Brandon Tatum.
Well, first of all, the longer you go into a role, the more true that role becomes to you.
He's stuck.
So I don't know that he started off actually admiring them, but he's been playing this role. I mean, let's be honest. Officer Tatum is a character. And the reason I know it's a character, because Officer Tatum is a job. That's a job he once had. He has lost that job, but he is continuing the character. Why? Because there's a lot of benefit and financial gain for him to do so. Like if he were a cab driver and got fired, you wouldn't call him, hey, cab driver Tatum, years later, right? Like he's holding on to this character because there's some incentive for him to do this. But this goes all the way back to slave mentality. It goes all the way back to what we used to refer to as house Negroes. House Negroes they live a more comfortable life. Like they're in the actual house with the master. They get access to better food, better clothing, better treatment. So when a field Negro is like, man, I hate living here, they've been playing that role for so long as a survival instinct that they're going to say stuff to me like, why? It's great here. Why are you making waves? That is exactly what this guy is doing. This shtick that he created got him connected to Turning Point USA and Charlie Clerk, where he learned how to access the conservative world and how to speak to them, how to get their feedback. This is much more about them admiring him than it is about him admiring them. and he learned how to speak to them while working for Charlie Kirk. But just to give you an idea of how you don't even realize or even care when you're being slapped in the face. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, murdered, which my heart goes out, I don't want anybody to be violently removed. But when Charlie Kirk was murdered, this man went online and was crying on podcasts about how a great man had just been murdered and he's going to miss his friend Charlie Kirk. And they did not invite him to the funeral. So like he's playing a role. Not even
you crying over Kirk and you ain't even get invited to the funeral, Ninja. Come on, bro.
Caring how they're treating him, because he's not interested in whether or not he admires them. He's interested in whether or not that audience admires him, and he has figured out how to turn that character into a large platform with a lot of money.
So it boils down to Brandon Tatum being pampered and him gaining access to people that he normally wouldn't gain access to if he was to stand up and stand for his own community. But like I said, it is ingrained in him because this is something that started ever since he was a youngin'. But him adopting that name, officer, he is not no officer no more. He want to portray himself as somebody who has so much authority because of who he works for. But it's sad, y'all, and our people ain't going for it no more. Y'all watch this.
This is Brandon Tatum.
Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian D.L. Hughley just said about me. Posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist? You are the lamest dude in all of comedy.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him. That's not emotion? You talked up the way Benjamin Crump talks.
Just want to blame white folks. And so I go out there because I know that lame Al Sharpton and Mr. I can't read Benjamin Crump is just race hustling, y'all.
You talked about how those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that in 2005 found 215 black people that were dead and buried in a pauper's grave and nobody knew they were there. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that just killed a 1-year-old boy and nobody's being brought to account. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that has been poisoning black people with the water since the 1960s. Black people didn't look for this fight. They want justice. All they want is accountability. And if it's those boys, it should be that. Nobody has a predetermined notion. I don't know what happened. But if you're saying that Al Sharpton and that Benjamin Crump are on one side, you're certainly on the other. You talk to them for 2 days and now all of a sudden you know if they're guilty.
Officer Tatum was literally just in my comment section accusing me of being a liar. So y'all can only imagine the enjoyment I felt watching Nancy Grace grill him and pull the truth out of him, because we all know that's not something he used to. Speaking the truth.
You interviewed that white boy. You asked him about that cell phone, and you let that white boy sit on your platform and talk in circles. What, do we look stupid? Do we look dumb? You think we don't know why Nolan Wells' cell phone would be on the boat? Yeah, you out on the water. You enjoying the island. So you leave all the cell phones on the boat. That's not the question. The question is, if what Warren said was true, allegedly, you asked him 3-4 times to get on the boat and he said he was staying, why didn't he ask for his cell phone? Why did he let you leave with his cell phone? That's the question. Officer Tatum, would you let somebody leave with your cell phone? If you were out with your friends and they were about to leave and you decided to stay, would you let them leave with your cell phone? No. No, you wouldn't. But you let the white boy come on your platform and talk in circles. He talked about everything but why they were in possession of his cell phone when they got back to shore. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Like I said, Officer Tatum is a dumbass person, right? And he gives racist white people power. I said racist white people. I didn't say all white people, so do not come in a conversation. If you come in a conversation and say some weird stuff, bro, you're racist because I said racist white people. He always saying some bullshit, bro. Like, always saying some bullshit. Then the racist people, they eat that shit up every time, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I was talking to this person, right? This Caucasian person who's racist, right? Because you could tell he's racist because the shit he was saying, right? And he said Tatum was one of his favorite black person. When he said that, I said, okay, that makes sense. Like, Officer Tatum, he know what he doing. And that's why I said, if anybody follow that dude, they is dumb as fuck.
The friends taking polygraphs.
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test.
Why do you say that's
test
from
but
what
one.
You understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum. Hold on. In a nutshell, Joe Scott, there's a difference between a polygraph, which measures all sorts of body signals, your sweat, your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, all sorts of things, and an audio verification test.
Is this guy serious?
I've been saying.
Now, if you're familiar at all with this man, if you're familiar at all with Officer Tatum, he is incredibly combative, very arrogant, very, very aggressive. But if you watch this interview, he's very hesitant. He's stumbling over his words, very timid. And the reason why is because he knows he's lying and he's being confronted by someone who's holding him accountable, the way he should have done with the two boys he interviewed. He's actually now talking to a professional interviewer. Nancy Grace has been a prosecutor. Like, he's talking to someone who knows how to hold you accountable for the answers that you give, and he is no longer this combative, confident, arrogant personality. He's now weak. He's now he's like reducing himself, stumbling over his words, and absolutely lacking confidence. That is a tell. That is a big deal. His demeanor is completely different than when you go to his page and he's telling people they owe him an apology and challenging people to fights. He's not the same person because he's now talking to somebody who's a professional interviewer. And that's exactly how these boys should have been interviewed by him when they had the opportunity. But instead, he's helping participate in some sort of a cover-up. Do I know what they're covering up? No. Do I know who did what? No. But the truth is not out. Something is amiss. And it's partly because he is helping these lies continue, as you just saw in this video.
There you have it. Brandon Tatum is living a life that's not even a life at all. Why would you want to sit up there and be controlled by somebody all for money, whereas though you can just be yourself, represent your people, and make money on your own without you having to be puppeted by anybody. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this Brandon Tatum guy. I'm trying to adjust and say Brandon Tatum. We are no longer calling him Officer Tatum no more. You are not an officer. Now, what you really is I ain't even gonna say that. Y'all get in the comment section, let me know what y'all think about Brandon Tatum. Make sure y'all hype this video. Make sure y'all subscribing. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.